What is going on in New York City?
Oh, with all the girls being punched randomly in the face?
Like 4, maybe 5 in one day?
I thought it would be higher.
Really?
Yeah, have you seen the girls in New York?
Some of the most beautiful women in the world.
Oh, no, I'm not saying they're not beautiful, but that makes me furious knowing I can't get any of them.
Because they're in New York and we're in Massachusetts?
No, because mostly the way I look and my status in life.
So if you read that article,
I did read it.
what was the common denominator when that happened?
All the guys that did it were black.
Well, you know, you can laugh, but you're not wrong.
I know I'm not.
Because it was...
I didn't even know. I didn't even see.
It seems to be one guy, and he was black. And they don't just come out and say that in the article. You have to hunt around to get that information, which is typical these days,
Well,
right?
that's how you know, because if they don't say it right off the bat, if it was a white guy, they'd be
Right.
a white man punched a...
Sure, but you know if they don't say the ethnicity of the individual, he was not Caucasian, right?
And you know we cannot use any of this because I'll be fired tomorrow.
Why?
I don't know, because I said all of them are black.
But the dude was black, so that's factually correct.
Yeah.
What I was actually referring to, though, was the scenario in which it happened. Did you see that?
No.
These are young women walking down the street in New York City, looking down at their phones when it happens. And then somebody comes up and out of nowhere, well, not out of nowhere, just without them knowing because they're not paying attention, punches them in the face. I don't want to say there's any excuse for this, but if there's any time that you kind of deserve to get punched, it's probably then.
Yeah, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Anybody that's not looking up should be immediately punched and probably battered into submission. It just makes sense.
That's not what I'm suggesting in the slightest.
Sounded like it to me, and I think all the viewers, all the 3 viewers out there agree with me.
I'm just saying you probably wouldn't be punched if you were paying attention to your surroundings. You could see that individual that's looking at you and approaching you and maybe move a little bit to the left or the right or make eye contact. Even just the eye contact would probably dissuade that person, I would think, from hitting you, right?
The girls start looking up. What's going to start happening, instead of getting punched in the face, it's going to be even worse. They're going to get kicked in the asshole because...
So he's going to walk past them and then turn around and just kick them in the asshole.
Yeah, and that would fucking hurt. A lot more than getting punched in the face.
All right, so poll question. Would you rather be punched in the face by a stranger or kicked in the asshole by a stranger? In both cases, you don't know it's coming. You're just walking down the street and it happens. Your thoughts in the comments.
I will tell you this. I've been punched in the face. I've been actually kicked in the face too.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that by me?
No, I'm suing my mother for it. It was when I was a baby.
Sure.
So one time, I was probably about 14, and we were with all the kids in the neighborhood. And I remember I was standing talking to some people, and this little girl, I don't know how old she was, probably like 8. For whatever reason, she just walked up and kicked me right in the asshole. It felt like I had been fucking shot with a sniper rifle. Dude, like, I almost cried, but I couldn't. Because everyone's just looking at me. I fell on the ground, dude. It felt like, have you ever had to hold your shit in and you know that feeling of your asshole and you're getting all those cramps? It felt like that, but instead of like a slow build, it was instant. It was like asshole spasms. It was horrible. So I'd rather be punched in the face.
What did you say to that girl?
What did I say? I don't remember. It was so long ago. It was like over 5 years ago. Can I ask you a question about these girls? Because I didn't look at all of them.
Sure.
The one I saw that you sent me, she looked pretty hot. Like,
Yeah, the blonde one maybe? Yeah.
But were they all hot chicks or?
They were all above average and one of them was hotter than the rest.
Yeah.
And she had a big egg on her head,
Yeah. I'd like to give her some of my eggs.
on her face.
Yeah, why not? It's like- Can I ask you a question? Were they all white girls?
I believe they were all white girls.
Interesting.
Why?
I have no reason.
What are you suggesting?
I think it's a cry for attention
From who?
from the girls. Can I give you my theory?
Please.
All these girls have Instagram accounts, right? I think that they're hiring one of their boyfriends or a friend to randomly punch them in the face on the street so they can go home and cry on camera and get a ton of views.
Not a terrible theory, actually, now that you say it out loud. I didn't really think about that.
Think about it. I mean, you got to look at these chicks. They're desperate at this point. There's too many pretty girls out there. You got to do something different. What better way to get views? I mean, that's every guy's fantasy, is to see a girl with a black eye crying. A pretty one at that. Whoa.
What?
Very interesting that Mike Tyson has a fight coming up. He has a hard time finding sparring partners because
No one wants to spar with Mike because he's a fucking animal.
Yeah. So what better way than to put on a mask and just fucking start knocking chicks out that kind of look like Jake Paul? Not a horrible theory, right?
You're really thinking today. You've put a lot more thought into this than you normally do.
It is. I mean, it is. That doesn't make a lot of sense. See, I used up all my thinking power. Yeah, fuck, man. I'm always just running on fumes, like brain fumes. What do you think about all this P Diddy stuff that's going on this week with his 2 homes being raided, one in LA, one in...
Simultaneously.
Yeah.
By the feds, no less.
Not only that, but he goes and skedaddles with his private jet into...
Antigua. I thought that was the case, but I don't think he's still there. I think he's back now because didn't they spot him at Miami International Airport?
Maybe. So what a lot of people out there are saying is that P Diddy for years has been extorting other people in the entertainment industry, politicians, and people of power into compromised positions by putting them into these sex parties that were, I guess, insane. And I got a story about that later. I did go to one of these parties when I was in California.
So he blackmailed the wrong person, or maybe the wrong person for too long, and they've had enough. Kind of like what I would imagine happened with Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Very similar, yeah.
Where he ends up being the fall guy. And I'm going to guess, like Epstein, none of this evidence will ever be brought to light.
Yeah, and P. Diddy will kill himself. The other thing that they're accusing him of, supposedly, is sex trafficking. I can tell you a little bit about that because I was in a sex trafficking accident where I was rear-ended.
Sure.
And I had to sue the guy
Right.
to get my, well, I like to call it my bumper fixed.
Right.
Because he gave me a prolapsed asshole.
Your bumper was pushed in?
Yes, if you want to call it that. So none of this stuff surprises me because I actually did go to one of P. Diddy's parties.
You did?
I did, back in like 2003, 2004.
Right. You lived in California for a while.
And I was kind of a mover and shaker then. Used to move my ass and shake it a lot. Go to the party, right? I'm all excited to show up there, right? I get there. There's no other cars in the driveway, which I thought was weird. I walk in. P. Diddy's in a fucking hot tub just sitting there. And he's got Will Smith and then Biggie Small next to him. This was when Biggie Small was still alive. So I go, hey, where's the fucking party, bro? He got pissed when I called him bro, and he almost beat the shit out of me. Sean Puffy, as he was known back then, Puff Daddy, he says, why don't you get in the hot tub, my friend? He's smoking a cigar, right? It's all wet and it's not even lit, which was weird. So I get in the fucking hot tub, right? Next thing you know, I realize that the old lasagna I ate on the way over in the car starts fucking with my stomach quite a bit.
Not sitting right.
Yeah, not sitting right at all. I start thinking, I need to make a beeline to the fucking bathroom.
Right.
Or I'm going to have a pretty dramatic accident in a couple minutes or so.
Got it.
So then, P. Diddy's like, hey, you like to party?
You like to party?
And I'm like, of course I like to party. He's like, here. And he pulls out a mirror with a bunch of coke on it. Now, looking back on it, it was a horrible mistake because, as you know, most cocaine is cut with baby laxative.
Right.
So I do an enormous line. Instantly, I feel my stomach gurgling.
Are you in the hot tub at this point?
I'm in the hot tub at
All right.
this time, right? Me, Puff Daddy, and Biggie Small. So the water was really high because Biggie Small was in it.
Where was Will Smith?
He was in the back room watching a movie.
Was it of Jada Pinkett Smith? I'm sorry, continue.
Instantly, I immediately fucking unleash my bowels in the hot tub. It looks like a brown volcano just bubbling up on the top. I'm horrified. I start apologizing. Suddenly, P. Diddy just looks at me, right? He's calm as fuck. He takes a cigar out of his mouth and he's like, not a problem, my boy. Right? Just like that, right? He fucking dives under the water. He starts slurping it up. Bro, right there, I knew I was probably in a lot of trouble. I didn't know what the fuck these freaks were about. Biggie, he goes, I love it when you shit in the hot tub, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? So, the next thing you know, he pulls out a bowl. I guess he was sitting on it. He pulls out a bowl. It's full of turd water, hot turd water. He just fucking downs it, dude. It's all like running down his chest and stuff. And next thing you know, little Kim comes out. I guess she was dating Biggie Small at the time.
Okay.
She fucking winks at me, right? Gives me like kind of like...
She gives you this signal.
Yeah, and you know, Biggie Small at the time was much bigger than me. I'm bigger than he is now. But at the time I was much skinnier, so I was kind of scared of the guy. I'm trying to be on the DL because I don't want P Diddy and Biggie to know anything's going on with me and Lil Kim.
Right.
Anyway, we go off to one of the far back bedrooms. She says, now, I want you to fuck me in the ass and only the ass. Dude, I'm not a guy to disagree with somebody. You know how I am, how agreeable I am. I'll do pretty much anything. So I start fucking her in the ass. I grab onto her hair to kind of pull it. It's a fucking wig, dude.
Right.
It comes off in my hand. I'm like still, pumping. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I look down and all of a sudden she looks over her shoulder at me, except it's not Lil Kim. Turns out it's Will Smith. He's got a fucking great ass. I'm like, what the hell? The fucking guy tricked me into fucking him. I should have known by the giant ball sack. I just thought she was swollen down there. I freak out. I scream at the top of my lungs. That immediately alerts P Diddy and Biggie. They come running down the hall. Well, not Biggie. He stayed in the hot tub, but P Diddy comes running down the hall. He's like, what the hell's going on in here? And I'm like, whoa, dude, I don't want any trouble. I don't know what the hell's going on. And he's like, well, guess what? I recorded all this shit. So then right then I knew I was being blackmailed into fucking dudes.
Right.
So anyway, I've had to fly out there every couple of months just to suck his dick. Now, I didn't want to tell anybody, but now it's out in the open.
Wait, weren't you in New York City this weekend?
Yeah, for a little while.
What were you doing there again?
Punching random pretty girls in the face.
Why?
Everybody else is.